Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. Dawn, Tom's wife, was going to be working all night and calling on an important client in the city. To avoid this, Tom chose to do something he enjoys in the evening, something he sometimes did during their 5 years of marriage, but it was about crossing over, which Dawn had no idea about. He began right after getting home from work by taking a shower, shaving, and getting his legs waxed. Dawn knew that Tom's legs had almost no hair on them, but she had no idea what the reason was. Tom then put on a corset to give himself a female body. He got ready by putting on a pair of red underwear. He dressed in his favorite thing, a black dress, black nylons, and high heels. Then, a dark brown wig that was shoulder length came out. He sat down at Dawn's vanity to put on his makeup, trying to make it look girly and soft. He really liked big, bright red makeup and black eyeliner. Some cherry red stickers for fake fingernails finished the look. He finally found some jewelry in his hidden place and put on a chain with a pendant and bracelets for each wrist. Tom took a step back and looked at himself in the long mirror his wife had set up. "That's nice," he thought. He was happy with how he looked. Still, he had never been out with a woman, which was one of his most valued goals. He believed he could pass well enough. He was impressed with how well he did the makeup. "This is one of my better works," he thought. "What would Dawn think now if she sees me?" Tom was thrilled and planned to stay thrilled all night. He turned on the kettle downstairs to make tea. It had been a long day at work, and he was tired, so he would need a cup of tea to wake him up before he began making dinner for the evening. Tom was used to walking in his high heels now, and he moved with ease in the kitchen. What he didn't notice was Dawn's car pulling into the drive, nor her key being turned in the front door's lock. Her meeting had been canceled, and her customer had given her short notice. Tom had just poured the hot water into the teapot when his wife walked into the kitchen. Dawn saw the shapely figure of a young woman when Tom's back was to her, making tea in her kitchen. She had a lot of thoughts going through her head. "I'll end you if you're seeing my husband with someone else," she yelled. Tom's heart was beating fast. He always believed he would have to tell Dawn about his hobby at some point, but she had found out by accident. He grabbed the kettle and tried to stay cool. In a soft voice, he slowly said, "I'm not cheating on your husband because I am your husband," as he slowly turned to look at his wife. Dawn let out a gasp when she saw Tom standing there, turned white in the face, and passed out. Tom ran over to her in his high heels, bent over, picked her up, and tottered into the living room with her, gently laying her down on the sofa. Dawn still hadn't come to, so Tom opened the bar cabinet and found a whiskey bottle and a glass. "No, I need to make that 2 glasses," he thought. "I need a drink to get through this. Do I have time to change before she comes to?" He knew the answer was no when Dawn sighed and started to come around. He held up the other glass and said, "Here, drink some of this. It's going to help you feel better." After taking a few sips, Dawn opened her eyes. She wasn't imagining things. Tom stood in front of her with a long brown wig and a short black dress. "Do you feel fine?" he asked. "Thank you. That feels much better. But I need to ask you a few things. I think you need to explain yourself," Dawn said. Tom tried to grab the towel. "I think I'll just go upstairs and change," he said, seeing a chance to take off the strange clothes that had suddenly become uncomfortable. "No, follow me. I'm still a little dizzy," Dawn said. Tom thought, "Oh no, I have to look like this from now on." He was feeling a lot of stress. "Are you not going to kick me out?" he asked. "How you answer the questions will tell me. Take a seat," she replied. On the other end of the couch, Tom sat down and smoothed his dress. "Why do you do that? Are you gay?" Dawn inquired. "Oh no, most cross-dressers are straight." "Do you want to change your gender?" "No way. I only want to dress like a woman on occasion. I love dresses." Tom took his eyes off her to calm down. He looked at his well-kept hands and his really long legs. He thought to himself, "This dress is way too nice." He nodded with a sad face. "How often do you do that?" Dawn inquired. "That depends on the chance. I think it's about once a week, sometimes twice." Do you ever hang out like that? You're really quite pretty." Tom turned red. "No way. Do you ever dress like me?" "No, not any longer. I did that right after we got married. I think I must have worn every piece of clothing in your closet. After that, I was afraid you might notice that I put something back where it didn't belong and start to think something is wrong, so I chose to get my own things. In any case, your clothes are a bit strict for me." "Oh, I see. Where do you get them? I can't picture you going shopping in River Island or Next." "No, I wouldn't. Everything I buy comes in the mail. I send it to the workshop so you won't see the packages and ask me what's inside. I send them to a woman named Miss T. Henderson. Could I borrow some of your stuff? I see no reason not to. They should fit you fine. The skirts might be too short." Dawn laughed. "It could be fun. Could you get me one of your skirts now so I can put it on?" Tom gave a smile. There was less ice around. Maybe this isn't such a bad idea after all, he thought. Dawn didn't look mad. She now wished to put on a skirt, one of my own. His heart rate had returned to normal, and his hands stopped sweating. "I'll look for something upstairs." Tom limped down the hall in his high heels and snuck up to the spouse's bedroom where he kept his clothes in a hidden space in his chest of drawers. He grabbed a blue dress with pleats, held up the skirt, and smiled to himself as he went back downstairs. Dawn was standing in the living room. She got the skirt from him, stepped into it, pulled it up around her waist, and zipped and buttoned it. The skirt was smoothed out. She walked into the hall and looked at herself in the long mirror. That's it. When she got back to the living room, Tom was sitting on the couch again, trying to act like he didn't care. "Well, I haven't worn something like this since I was at school," Dawn said. "In fact, I wore a skirt just like this at school," she thought suddenly. "This isn't part of a St. Trinian's outfit, right?" Tom turned red again. Dawn knew what this meant without a doubt. "May I try the whole outfit? What is it? In our room? Let's look for it upstairs." Before Tom could do anything, Dawn took off for the stairs. Dawn swept up to the bedroom and Tom was following her. He had left the secret drawer in the chest of drawers open, and Dawn knew that a curious woman would want to look at each item in that box in great depth. "Do you keep your clothes here?" Dawn asked. It was a question. She knew the answer was yes before she asked. "Let us see what else you have. That's a nice white shirt. A tie and jacket for school. Blue ribbons for—" What is this black and white outfit? It has a pretty frill made of lace fabric. Hey, Tom, that's what I think it is, a maid's outfit. She held it up to look at it. It must look good on you. Well, would you mind putting it on and showing me? Tom felt even worse about himself. He wished he could disappear. He wasn't looking forward to putting on that maid's outfit. It wasn't very nice, and he didn't like it. Why hadn't he just thrown it away? He believed no one would ever find out about it. But now, Dawn had. He took the outfit from Dawn, laid it down on the bed, and began putting it on. At the same time, Dawn put on her white school blouse. Tom was tying the ties on the white apron while she was tying her own. "It's important not to forget the socks," Dawn said. Tom looked in the drawer and found his pants, socks, and the white maid's lacy cap. He moved to take off his shoes, rolled up his pants, and put on the socks attached to the suspenders. Tom stepped back into his high heels and stood tall to show off his new outfit to his wife. She made a noise of approval. "You look like a real girl. If Steve and Gareth, Tom's best friends, could see you now." "Every Saturday, the 3 guys got together at the pub for a few beers. Maybe the 4 of us could go out together tonight. We could get something to eat. You should put on a nice dress. Do you have one?" "You'd be crazy to tell Steve and Gareth," Tom protested. "Why wouldn't I?" Dawn smiled. She had to be joking, right? Tom thought. He didn't want to go out with Steve and Gareth, not at all. He had long suspected Steve liked Dawn. He would then be paired up with Gareth. Which was worse, being paired with Gareth or his wife being paired with Steve? "No, I wouldn't, but you look good in that outfit," she said. "Can you please call me Tammy instead of Tom?" "Sure thing, Tammy." "May I make you an offer?" Dawn asked. "Of course," Tammy said as she reapplied her lipstick. "Well, you know that I don't finish work until 3 p.m. on Fridays while you finish a long time before 6. I want you to go home. Put on what you are wearing right now, clean the house, vacuum the floors, iron the clothes, and make the food. You can dress up however you want after we eat, and we can have fun then. Do I have to clean up, vacuum, iron, cook, and do all that other stuff? What else does a maid do besides clean? What if I refuse? Don't do that. Would you like me to tell Steve and Gareth? No, of course not. I will do it. The next Friday, Dawn got home to find Tammy dressed as a maid in an apron and stilettos, leaning over the ironing board and pressing one of Dawn's shirts. The house was clean and neat. No more dust. A smell of cooking food was coming from the kitchen. Good evening, Tammy. What time do you think we should eat? Dawn asked. Good evening, ma'am. At 6:30 p.m., just as you requested, Tammy replied, bowing to her wife. Dawn handed Tammy a shopping bag, saying, Oh, Tammy, I've brought you a gift. Tammy opened the bag and found a pink dress inside. Thank you very much, ma'am. Can I wear it tonight? It will be fun for me to wear, Tammy said. This arrangement helped Dawn and her husband Tom a lot. Tammy cleaned and did the ironing, while Dawn went upstairs to change into her evening wear. Dawn walked down the stairs wearing a new black skirt made of PVC. Now you can go change, she told Tammy. Wait while I make the coffee. Thank you, ma'am, Tammy said, bowing to her boss. While Dawn made the coffee, Tammy changed in her bedroom upstairs. She took off her work clothes and put on something more comfortable. It was what Tammy looked forward to every week. She had been enjoying these Friday night sessions with Dawn for 3 months now and felt completely at ease while dressed with Dawn. Dawn seemed to enjoy her strange hobby a lot and had taught Tammy how to put her hair up in a bun and do her makeup in the most understated way. The two women freely shared perfumes and makeup. They had even gone shopping a few times to add to Tammy's wardrobe, though she had to dress as Tom and couldn't try on the clothes in the stores. Dawn took a lot of Tammy's clothes, like the PVC skirt. She had planned to start wearing them to work, but hadn't quite found the courage yet. The following Friday, Tammy wore a brand new outfit she had bought with Dawn, a white top and a denim skirt. She looked at herself in the mirror. Socks wouldn't fit under the skirt, so she found a pair of flesh-colored nylons and then a pair of brown high-heeled ankle boots. She had one ear pierced before Tammy came out. She now had 2 and carefully put on a pair of long earrings that hung down. After that, she put on a bracelet, 3 rings. She looked at her hair and makeup. She looked at herself in the mirror one last time before going downstairs. It always amazed her how easy it was to transform from a little man into a pretty, drop-dead, gorgeous babe. She liked Fridays a lot. Of course, being dressed as a maid and doing the chores, bowing and calling Dawn ma'am was embarrassing. But it was worth it for her to look like this every week. Dawn even told Tammy she could be a woman all day one day. Downstairs, Dawn complimented her. That looks great. The skirt is perfectly done, Dawn said with awe as Tammy did a twirl. She took her cup of coffee and sat down. Do you want to go for a drive? Dawn asked. It was May, and daylight lasted until about 9:30. Tammy suddenly felt nervous. She had never been out as a woman before, but wanted to. Do I need to get out of the car? No. What if we break down? If you want, you can take some of Tom's clothes in the trunk. Are you sure I won't have to get out of the car? For sure. The neighbors might see and recognize it's me. They're unlikely to recognize you. They're more likely to wonder why I'm wearing a PVC skirt. She thought for a while. Others took chances too. Okay, she said. Go ahead. Dawn and Tammy went for a drive every Friday for the next few weeks, unnoticed and without raising any suspicions. Every Friday, they drove about 10 miles from home, past the Plow, a country pub. Dawn had been saying for a long time, I want to visit that pub. It looks so cozy and nice. A different time, love. Why not? We're unknown here. No one will think anything's wrong. Let's go in for a chat. I'll get the drinks and we can sit at a quiet table, Dawn suggested. Where's your adventurous spirit? You said you were ready for going out dressed. But look at what we're wearing. They might think we're on the game dressed like this. Why don't we wear something different next week? Okay, Dawn agreed. We'll come back next week. The following week, they dressed more normal for their trip to the bar. Dawn wore blue jeans, and Tammy wore Dawn's long skirt as she didn't like trousers. They walked through the bar door, and a race car went by. 6 guys standing near the bar were the only people there. 6 heads turned as they walked in. 12 eyes admired the newcomers. Tammy avoided making eye contact, but Dawn smiled at the guys and told her, "I'll get them in. Go sit over there," pointing to a table away from the bar. "A cherry Coke and a vodka and tonic, please," she told the bartender. She sat down, whispering, "Make the vodka a double," but Tammy couldn't hear her. Dawn brought the drinks over, handed Tammy the vodka, and sat down. "See, that wasn't so bad, was it?" Dawn asked as Tammy sipped her drink. The men at the bar had lost interest in the 2 strangers. "Stop being so sensitive. You know how to deal with it. The shoe is on the other foot now. You'll get used to it soon enough." The rest of their time in the pub went smoothly. More patrons arrived, and the 2 women became less noticeable as the room got busier. They had another drink, and Tammy's high heels felt a bit less stable as they walked back to the car. "We should come back here," Dawn suggested. Dawn and Tammy always dressed up on Friday nights, changed clothes, and drove about 10 miles to a quiet country bar in town. They would have a few drinks in peace before returning home. As the weeks went by, they stayed a bit longer each time, and their outfits became a little more feminine. They never engaged in conversations with other patrons in the pub, especially Tammy, who was really Dawn's husband, Tom, dressed as a woman. Tammy had been practicing her female voice at home, but she wasn't confident or skilled enough to use it in public yet, so Dawn always went to the bar to get the drinks. Once in the pub, someone had come over and asked if they were a couple of girls on the pull, but Dawn politely declined, telling them they were happily married and on a girls' night out. Tammy was becoming more comfortable at the plow. Initially, she was just nervous, but now she knew she could pass without issue. No one in the bar seemed to think anything was amiss. On one particular Friday, Tammy was dressed in her favorite black dress, the one she had on when Dawn first saw her as a woman. Dawn was wearing a cute denim skirt that belonged to Tammy. They were sitting in their usual spot in the bar, Tammy with a vodka and tonic, and Dawn, who was driving with a Diet Coke, when Tammy nudged her. "Have you seen that guy over there?" she asked. Dawn glanced across the bar. There they were, each with a pint in hand, Tom's best friends Steve and Gareth, whom he often went out with on Saturday nights for drinks. Tom had purposely not gone out with them that evening. "Why are they here?" Dawn whispered. "Let's hope they don't recognize us. They'll know me, but not you." Of course they will, Tammy thought. She had always suspected Steve had a thing for Dawn and wouldn't miss the chance to flirt with her. "Why don't we just sneak out without them noticing?" Tammy suggested. "They'll definitely see me. Let's wait a bit longer." "Then you sneak out first and get to the car. It's your turn now. At least if they see me, they won't see you. Don't worry." Did she say calm? Tammy thought to herself. Her hands were shaking. Her stomach felt sick. She tried not to look at the 2 men in case she caught their attention, but she kept an eye on them from the corner of her eye. "Oh no," she whispered. "They're coming over." Thanks for watching. Check out Patreon if you want to have early access to the other parts. If not, it will be online in a couple of days.